You got a tile project you want to do. You go down to Home Depot to pick up your supplies. They got 9 different kinds of Thinset down there. Which one do you get? What's the difference between them? One of them is $6, one of them is $60. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 9 different Thinsets that my local Home Depot had. Which one does what, and which one do you need for your project? Starting with CustomBlend. CustomBlend is the cheapest one. It was $6 at my local Home Depot. Where are some applications that you would use this Thinset? Okay, my recommendation, keep in mind this is my opinion, don't use this one anywhere. Don't buy it. This one is not good for anything. For one thing, it's an unmodified mortar, and even as unmodified mortars go, it's not a very good one, okay? Unfortunately, if you're looking for a good unmodified mortar, you're not gonna find it at Home Depot. This is the only one they carry, and I don't recommend that you get it. I view CustomBlend as the sucker test, okay? You don't wanna be the sucker that's loaded that stuff up on your cart and walking out the store. In the tile world, that is the equivalent of the walk of shame, okay? Having your cart full of CustomBlend and heading out to your car. You don't wanna be the sucker, don't buy CustomBlend. But let's get to the ones that you do want to buy. Versabond. Versabond has been around for better than 2 decades now. I used to use tons of this stuff during the housing boom. Versabond is a kind of a basic all-around Thinset mortar that you would use commonly today. It's an ANSI 118.4 Thinset, which means it meets the minimum qualifications to be a modified mortar. Where do you use this? You can use this for membranes, waterproof sheet membranes. If you're installing this kind of waterproof banding, Versabond is a good Thinset for that. You can use it for mudding the seams on your backer board. You can use it for uncoupling membranes. You can use it for small tile, okay? Anything 2x2s, subway tile, anything like that. You can use it for tile all the way up to, definitely 12x12s. When it gets to large format tile, I prefer you use the next one coming up. And also, when you're using this is interior residential only, okay? You don't use this for glass tile. Don't use this for exteriors, when you're getting into the driving rain and the heat thaws and all that stuff. No exteriors, interior residential only. Versabond is a nice choice. Okay, Versabond LFT. What is LFT? LFT stands for large format tile. The large format tile is the 24-inch long type tiles, that can be 12x24, 6x24, 24x24. You get into that large format area. Versabond LFT is a great Thinset for that. Now, you don't have to install only LFT type tiles with Versabond LFT. So in other words, anything you can use regular Versabond, you can use Versabond LFT for, okay? So that's membranes, small tile, and everything. So Versabond LFT is like the most versatile mortar in the store, in my opinion. You can use it for just about anything interior residential. Let's get into the rapid sets here. SpeedSet, where would you use this stuff? Okay, so I don't recommend DIYers use SpeedSet or any rapid setting mortar. It makes everything more difficult and takes longer, okay? So you're gonna wash your tools more frequently. You're always constantly fighting that, when it's setting up on you, and you always have to constantly mix more, clean out your buckets and that sort of thing. So where does the speed part of it come into the play? Once you have that tile set, that's that process. Normally if you're doing, say, like a floor, you got to wait till the next day at least, maybe sometimes longer, to come back in and step on that floor. With the rapid set, it speeds that whole process up to about 4 hours, okay? But for DIYers, you got to sleep sometime. I recommend you don't mess with these things. However, if you want to, this one's called SpeedSet. You can use this SpeedSet anywhere you would use regular Versabond mortar. Okay, Versabond LFT RS. What is RS? RS is rapid set. You just heard my spiel on rapid set mortars. I don't recommend them for DIYers, but if you're going to use this one you can use anywhere you would use Versabond LFT. So the natural stone mortar, where would you use this stuff? So this is kind of made for marble, I guess you might say. So any heavy tiles, it can be 12x12 marble. And I say marble, it's marble, granite, travertine, anything like that. Any natural stone. I kind of think that if you're going to be installing natural stone, I kind of like the the less modified mortars rather than the highly modified, and that's kind of where this one fits in. So this is a good one for any kind of marble or natural stone. However, I look at this and I look at the price on it, and it's more money than Versabond LFT. And I don't see any reason that you would spend more money for this product when you could just buy Versabond LFT and it does pretty much the same thing. There's not a ton of difference between these two thin sets, in my opinion. So if you're going to install natural stone, this is a good choice. If you're going to spend more money for it, just buy the Versabond LFT. That works perfectly fine. Prolite. Prolite is many tile setters' favorite thin set. In my opinion, this is the best thin set in the store, and it's not just that, it's the best one that Custom Building Products makes, period. And it's the first one on the list that is an ANSI 118.15 mortar, which means it's that next step up. That means it is a high performance thin set. So what do you do with it? Where can you use it, okay? You can use this stuff anywhere you use Versabond LFT, okay? I'm gonna put one little asterisk on that and I'll come back to that. But anywhere, so large format, small format, membranes, anything like that. I like the stuff, it's lightweight, so not only is it easier to carry around, it's less weight in your car and your vehicles when you're taking it home. I like the lightweights for, when you're putting large format tile on the walls. I think that works great for that kind of thing. You don't need the lightweight for that, but it's kind of nice. So this is just a really nice thin set to work with. It's not the strongest, it's not the most expensive. It's just the best formulated product in my opinion. So with Prolite, you can use this stuff. You can start to get outdoors with this stuff. You can use this for glass. It's not white, but a lot of times that doesn't matter when you're installing glass. This is just a nice product and I highly recommend it. A lot of guys, this is their favorite thin set, like I was saying. One thing I want to mention with Prolite, if you're installing heated tile floors, I recommend you use the regular Versabond LFT rather than the Prolite. That lightweight type of aggregate that they put in there doesn't conduct heat quite as well as the old school sand that they put in the other kind of mortars. So if you're going to be installing, heat, anything like above, like if you're installing Dietrich heat, if you got anything where you're encasing the wires or you're installing the tile on top of the wires, that's where you want to use Versabond LFT, in my opinion. Now, if you have an application out there where you've already got it in, it's not the end of the world. You're not breaking any rules by installing it in heated applications, but I just think if you're going to spend the money and go to the work and the expense of putting in electric floor heat, then you should just use Versabond LFT. FlexBond. FlexBond is like Versabond on steroids, okay? It's also an A118.5 thin set. You can use this stuff indoors or outdoors. It has a high bond strength. It's not the cheapest one on the list. You can use this stuff in fountains, for pools, submerged applications, and that sort of thing. The FlexBond is a really strong thin set, but I don't recommend that you use it for LFT. So MegaLite. So MegaLite is like a higher strength version of Prolite. So it's lightweight. It's got the A118.15 designation, but it's even stronger than the Prolite. So this is one of those thin sets. It's really expensive. It's 60 bucks a bag here at Home Depot. So MegaLite, where are you going to use this? You're going to use this outside in the extreme environments. This is the one you want to use. Submerged applications, swimming pools, fountains, that type of thing. Glass tile, you can use this with. The large panels, the really, really big large format tiles, those you can use it there. So anywhere, it's kind of just a problem solver is what it is. So that's MegaLite. So that's the thin sets at Home Depot. For the most part, you're going to come in here and you're going to buy one of the three here: Versabond, Versabond LFT, or Prolite. Those are the three favorites. Versabond LFT, in my opinion, is the most versatile. Versabond is just fine if you don't need the LFT factor. And also the Prolite is just a fantastic thin set to work with. Typically you're going to use, when you come into the store, you're going to buy one of those three. The other ones are typically just problem solvers and things you would only buy for special situations. Now available, Prism Grout in small batch quantities. Head on over to DIYTileGuide.com, sign up for the email list, and get your copy of the exact batch cheat sheet, which has the exact water and powder ratios that you need for mixing small amounts of thinset mortar and now Prism grout.